Hi, I'm Rob Levin, chairman of Work Better Now, and here we are on another episode of Working Better Now, where I typically what I do is I sit down with a business leader. Today is a little different. I'm going to sit down not only with a business leader and a fairly recent friend, but also sit down with Nathalie Perez, who works with Philip. So, without any further ado, I want to introduce Phillip Pfeiffer and Nathalie Perez. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Philip, I'd like to start the conversation off with you. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi, Rob. It's good to be here. Good to see you again. I am an EOS implementer and also a coach for 10 disciplines. But I'm in my sixth year as an EOS implementer, conducted over 300 sessions for visionary entrepreneurs and their leadership teams. And I help them get what they want from their business and live their ideal lives.
Terrific. We're going to come back to that in a second. Thanks, Philip. Nathalie, tell us a little bit about what you do with Philip.
I'm Philip's executive assistant, and I help him pretty much with everything about organizing his calendar, his inbox, helping with onboarding new leads and managing new clients and current clients as well. So it's pretty much a lot of everything, but it's like an enriching experience.
Awesome. Before we jump in, and I want to ask you both about, what it's like working with one another. And just so that everybody knows, Nathalie is a Work Better Now professional. Philip's obviously a Work Better Now client. I'm going to ask you to talk about this for 30 seconds, Philip. I can't help it. I was just at the EOS conference. I spoke at the pre-conference. I sat in on Philip's session speaking to what seemed like at least a few hundred people and was blown away, Philip, with your presentation. Absolutely blown away and inspired. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you spoke about?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Thanks so much. The talk was the soul of EOS, 6 principles for abundance and freedom in work and life. And that talk was all about that built into EOS are these 6 timeless and universal principles that everybody that's running on EOS is already working on. They're already working towards these things. I just make them explicit so that you can be intentional about them. And
Yeah.
these principles are accelerators in work and life. They attract people and they advance or elevate us to a next level. And no matter where you look in human societies, over history, over geography, any culture, any time, any place, you can always find these principles. They're timeless and universal in that way. You know, people have been talking about them for thousands of years. And they're built into EOS. And I think it's one of the reasons why EOS has such a great reputation for delivering results over and over and over again.
Yeah. Again, I took so many notes, just wrote down so many things that I've already started to implement. I can't thank you enough for that. Fortunate that I was able to attend it.
Well, I was just going to say that's a good lead into, the work I'm doing on the 10 discipline sides with Gino, because, Gino obviously created EOS and then he also created the 10 disciplines, and his latest book is called Shine. And Shine is about unlocking your entrepreneurial freedom. His point is inside of you, there's all this love and joy and light. And what happens is, it gets layered over with trauma, anger, anxiety, all of these things. And if you want to, the elevation, the path forward isn't really acquisitive. It's not about going out and acquiring new things. It's about just removing the blocks, because inside we all shine. And so the soul of EOS talk I do is just as much about the 10 disciplines, frankly, as it is about EOS.
My first EOS conference, blown away not only by your talk. Wickman's keynote was great, and I've started to read the book by him and Rob Dubay. So can't recommend it enough. Although I've only started reading it, but so far it's been amazing. Back to Philip, the Philip and Nathalie show. Philip, can you tell us a little bit about what led you to turn to WBN and what were you trying to accomplish, when hiring Nathalie?
I reached a point where I needed and wanted a full-time assistant. And so I kind of reached almost like hitting the ceiling point, right? I mean, I've been working with assistants for years, typically in a part-time capacity. And so I really wanted a full-time assistant, and it just meant that, okay, well, the full-time assistant, that's going to require more resources, it's going to cost more money. And so what are my options? One option was to hire an assistant right here, in Los Angeles, where I live and work. I also could maybe hire a remote professional elsewhere in the country, or I could look outside of the country. And that's when you guys really hit my radar. To be honest, I wasn't super excited about working too far outside of my time zone with someone. Having someone who was effectively up in the middle of the night where they were, just for me, I didn't love that. And so you guys obviously near shore, south of the border, Central and South America, as well as I think other parts of of North America, just south of the border. I really liked that format. Natalie's 2 hours. She's in Central Standard Time Zone. I'm in Pacific Time Zone, so it's very comfortable. And I had heard about you had really great people, and it's proved out. So
Thanks
yeah,
for
thank you.
sharing. First off, Natalie, where are you based out of?
Well, I'm based in Central America, Nicaragua.
Tell us a little bit about how you found out about Work Better Now and what drew you to Work Better Now.
Well, actually, I was looking for something remote at the time, and I was trying to put all of my skills in a place that values them. So I got this opportunity with Work Better Now, and then I had this interview with one of your human resources individuals, and I love the fact that you were super open to have people that is not in any U.S. location, but we can also work with U.S. companies because I value that because U.S. companies are different from us, from our culture and ways of working, but at the same time, they are super productive and resourceful. So I wanted to learn more about those ways of working in their culture. So yeah, that's where I found you.
Fantastic. Philip, how was the process for you? Your initial consult and then, interviewing with a few people,
Yeah.
including Natalie.
Yeah, it's fast. You guys work fast. In fact, it's almost uncomfortably fast because you got all of the information on who I was looking for and had a quick call with me, went through it all. I felt super comfortable. We're going to go away and we're going to come right back and we're going to have some candidates. And I think that round trip was about a week, maybe even less. And you said, look, we're ready to schedule a day of interviews with you. We've got some candidates. We've pre-selected them. We think we're very comfortable putting them all in front of you. And so I did a day of interviews and really short, conversations. I think I met with 4 people. Natalie was one of those. I think Natalie was at the end of the day, and I was clear that she was the right one on that call. And after the call, I said, this is a really fast process. I'm used to usually spending a lot of time going through multiple, so that it feels a little uncomfortable, but I think she's amazing. She just sounds great. We connected, very sharp, very bright, really easy communication, and made the decision right then and there. It was like a week-long process. It was incredible.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for sharing. And Natalie, how was it from your perspective?
It was fast as well on my end because I applied to this job position, and I would say in a week I was working with Philip. It was really fast. And at the same time, I was comfortable as well because I found this fun and easy at the same time, like having this interview. Actually, Philip was the only client that I had an interview with, and I found myself easy with it. Yeah, as you mentioned, we had a really good conversation and I was comfortable with it.
Fantastic. And, just to be clear, I'm thrilled to hear how easy and fast it was for everybody. But there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes to all the screening that Natalie went through. And again, it was quick because, we don't just look at Philip as you as a client. We look at Natalie as a client. In fact, one of our core values is to put our professionals first. So we not only want to make it fast for you, we want to make it fast for Natalie, but I have to make sure I say this. There's a lot of screening going on behind the scenes, to make sure that people like Natalie are the ones coming through, because we get thousands of applications each month. And then the hand matching process based upon what you said you needed on your initial consult, Philip, along with Natalie's skills and personality. So it worked the way it's supposed to, which is it's seamless for both, but with a lot of stuff to make that happen. So it's music to my ears, and I can't wait to share this with the team. Natalie, can you talk a little bit more about the top responsibilities that you have working with Philip?
Well, actually, as he mentioned, he's involved in many things, like he's managing sessions, clients, he participates in conferences, and also he's doing coaching sessions. So it's a lot of things that he has on his plate right now. So assisting him involves multiple tasks, projects, and client engagement simultaneously. That's where my role is a big deal in this entire thing because what I do is I'm always like in the background, but at the same time I'm managing and trying to organize everything in a way that is easy for him to find all of the information from his clients, from his new leads, from everything that he's managing right now. So I would say he's doing like the biggest part, but at the same time, I'm playing a big role here, facilitating him.
Fantastic. And Philip, what has having Nathalie on your team enabled you to do?
Well, Natalie is right when she says she does everything for me. I think that was the way you put it, right, Natalie? Good way to describe it. I mean, much more than an administrative assistant, she is an operations manager and she runs the entire back office of my business. But it involves all of the outward facing communication to prospects and clients and all the different parts of my business. She frees me up. I can stay in my unique ability, focus on what I love to do and am great at, which is being in sessions with clients, taking the group coaching cohort through the 10 disciplines, and doing business development. That's what I'm able to focus on. And I don't have to touch any of the administrative logistics, all of that stuff that drains my energy. And I will tell you, it's just incredible. I obviously thought that Natalie was the right one when I gave her the thumbs up and we started working together. But right away in that first week, Natalie is someone who would go and she could go and like figure something out. And then everything I asked her to do, she would over deliver on it, like get out in front of it. And I remember one time I asked her to grab the bio I had and send it to somebody. And she said, hey, I tweaked this. I played with this a little bit and updated it. What do you think? And I looked at it and I was like, God, didn't even ask her to do it. It's so much better. So everything she touches is transformed. It makes me better. It helps me grow my business.
Yeah, there's something so powerful when you can spend, a high percentage of your time in your unique ability and everything else is handled by somebody else, in your case, by Nathalie. Nathalie, has working with Philip helped you kind of grow as a business person?
Well, actually, that's an interesting question because that's the thing that I wanted to share with you. The most valuable thing here is that I have access to this methodology, which is EOS, which includes their tools, their processes, and their best practices. So it's amazing to work with him based on this system because it has helped me to understand what are my priorities, where I could focus on. And of course, this reflects my professional growth as well because if I want to grow in any other job title or in any other way, I could implement these tools that I'm using right now with me. So it has helped me a lot too, personally and professionally.
Fantastic. Look, we've been on EOS for a year and a half, so I can understand your excitement in embracing the EOS tools. Philip, so did you initially hire Nathalie to be your assistant and then you mentioned operations manager? Was that your intention from the beginning or did that evolve over time? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was my intention. I mean, ultimately, the path is to become my integrator and run the entire business, overseeing marketing, business development, operations, and finance. Natalie's very strong in ops and finance. She's very process driven. It's always my intention. And I think that we are on the right path to go through those progressions.
Fantastic. So what does the future look like for the two of you working together?
Being an integrator.
It's pretty amazing to go from assistant to integrator with, in not a long period of time.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I introduced Natalie to the Delegate and Elevate tool in the first week. And I said, I want to know what your unique ability is. And if you don't know, it's fine. I'm going to help you figure it out. And I want to know where you want to go long term. I might not be the last stop on her journey, but I want to make sure that I set her up for the next phase of her journey. And so we had that discussion, but we're going to spend the next 2 years together, right, Natalie? So no matter what, we're going to.
Yes.
All right, that's good. That's important. It's all about getting to know each other and just setting both of us up for what's to come. And I think you are on a great path to become the operations manager and ultimately an integrator for me and maybe even for a bigger company someday.
So powerful. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to close with this question, and one or both of you, please feel free to answer it, which is if you were to give advice to others, this could be either other clients or other professionals looking to be a Work Better Now professional, or other clients who might be thinking about working with Work Better Now, what piece of wisdom would you share?
Actually, I have referred a few people already to WBN, but what I have to tell them is always prioritize your work ethics. Because I feel like working remotely is always open to make some kind of cheating with hours and how are you using your time. But I strongly believe that your work ethics are aligned with what you're supposed to do. You're gonna be successful. That gives you credibility and your clients trust in you.
That is so powerful, Natalie. It's so much more powerful than it might seem because without ethics, there's nothing. Without trust, there's nothing. So thank you for sharing that. Philip, anything that you'd like to add?
Well, my answer is the exact same. I mean, in EOS, we call it right people in the right seats. Right people are people that fit your values, your ethics. Right seats are people that GW see the role. In other words, they have the capability to deliver it. And my wisdom is that you're never going to be able to let go if you don't have the right person in the right seat. You have to have both of those. And so you got to figure out what that means for you. And I think we do. We have shared work ethic. Natalie, I think the communication is there, the work ethic is there. She wants to be great. She wants to do great. And so all that's in place. So it just makes it very easy for me to let go. And she's added a lot of capability. And I mean, she's added an enormous capability I wasn't even looking for, which is obviously really exciting because that's an important part of growth too.
Fantastic. Natalie, Philip, I want to thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me and with the Work Better Now community. This has been a terrific conversation. Really looking forward to sharing it with the community. I want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and we'll see you soon. Thank you both.
You're welcome. My
You.
pleasure.